Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Golden Opportunities Coaching YouTube channel. Welcome to those of you who are new. Welcome back to those of you seasoned veterans. And what we do around here, is bring about conversations of a psychological, mental health, emotional health paradigm. We do that as often as we can, usually several times per week. We try to make something happen for your listening pleasure. And so, if you're looking for coaching, life, relationship, business, habit change, anything in between, would love to be of assistance to you in that way. The idea of someone not being into us can be extremely difficult, and so, what are some signs that someone's not into you in the way you wish they were? First is they will talk to you about others. They'll talk to you about their interest in other people. This is because they regard you in a friend zone sort of way. You're wanting to be regarded in obviously a different way, and that then ultimately becomes frustrating because their interest in you is only platonic as opposed to your interest in them being more romantic or out and out only with a romantic tilt towards it. So, that can be super challenging, especially when we don't want to see the truth that's right in front of us. A lot of times the signs are there when we look back at it, but our willingness to see what things really are in terms of a person's level of attraction can often be clouded by our desire for them to change their mind. Very rarely do people change their mind over something in an elongated way. So, in other words, if a person's going to change their mind, it's usually in a rather quick fashion, a couple of months at maximum. And this is more because that individual is looking at what they want versus our compatibility with what they want, not necessarily looking at us as a person fully. And so that can become problematic for a number of reasons. The next thing to look at, just as a general rule, is the concept of they do not make time for the relationship. Obviously, a person who is into the idea of a relationship going forward in a romantic or even a platonic manner means they are going to make time for the affirmation and continuation of the relationship as a whole. And so the lack of willingness and lack of ability to do that is something that they are going to continue to do and continue to be passionate about on a consistent basis. When a person is not willing to do that continually, then what we have is the reality that this individual sees us in a way that's different than the way we want to be seen, and ultimately that becomes problematic because oftentimes we think we can convert a person or convince a person to behave and believe in the way that we want them to, and ultimately that becomes a major challenge. When we begin to understand that we cannot force a person forward, then we've got to begin to see the value of, kind of reevaluating the relationships we're having, and also kind of trying to see whether or not that person is moving forward in a progressive, productive manner for our own benefit, or whether we are actually trying to make them be something they're not ready to be, or something that ultimately doesn't serve us well in the long run. So, the next thing there is to kind of look at the amount of attention they are giving when we are engaged with them at any level. So the level of attention is also important. That means we have their complete attention, or are they on their phones? Are they using technology? Are they more concerned with social media or talking about things that have happened in their own life that have nothing to do with us? If a person is committed and connected to building rapport, they're going to be as interested in us as we are in them. However, when the rapport building is one sided, it's quite often a challenge as it relates to the idea of connecting in a deeper level and in a deeper way. Um, Obviously, the one sided nature of the rapport building is only because that person only sees us as a temporary fixture, or a fixture that is not of an importance that would lead to something more serious or something more committed, connected. The next thing is we do not spend time with them one on one. This is because they see us as a group person, a group activity type of person, and not as a person who is, somebody they're building a rapport enough with to have a one-on-one relationship, or whatever it is. And I know a lot of times people hold on to the fantasy or the dream that a person's going to see them in a certain way or in a certain light, and it can happen. Obviously, people can change their mind at any given moment, and change does often happen. However, it only generally happens when a person is inclined towards it. In other words, your actions or my actions isn't going to change a person. A person has to be willing to be flexible to begin with. The next thing is that person will always be, or often, more often than average, be busy. They are coming up with reasons to create distance between yourself, and them, and they don't want to actually confront the idea that you have deeper feelings than they do, because it's either uncomfortable for them, or they feel they may benefit from having something to do with you at a later point. But at the same time, they don't want to further the relationship. So that busy excuse is always there as a buffer zone, for lack of a better term. So hopefully this is helpful. I encourage you, keep your feet on the ground, your mind in the moment. Until next time, everybody.